Bing, bop, boom, 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 bop, bam. The type of shit I'm on, you wouldn't understand.
Great Convos Season 5 is here, and we're coming in strong.
Hello, everyone.
What's wrong, Roger?
I love live. This is the reason why. My goodness, you did it again, my friend. But let's do it all the correct way right now. Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to another episode of Great Convos, where we always say, whether you agree or disagree, you can always find great convos. We are here. I'm Roger, and that gentleman over there.
I'm Alexandre. Thank you for being here with us today.
Man, on a weekend when we had one of the biggest games in sports, the Super Bowl, where the stars came together and a great game or not so great game happened. We also have a star going to be joining us today, and we are so happy about that. But man, how are you, Alex? How was your week? Let's start with that.
The week was good, and the weekend was fine. Also, we had a lot of snow here in Northern Ontario in the past few days. So we spent a bit of the weekend playing outside in the snow. And yesterday we went to Science North, the biggest science center in Northern Ontario. So we had a lot of fun with the family.
Awesome. And for me, this week has been filled with a lot of events. I was proud to be a coach for TEDx. Had the speakers learning their crafts, learning how to put together their speeches. And then on this Saturday that just passed, they performed at TEDx UFT Scarborough. Very proud of all of them. They did a fantastic job. And of course, yesterday, the Super Bowl. Well, as a loyal Buffalo Bills fan, I must say I was happy with the results. But I know that we have some of our loyal listeners here who might be Kansas City fans and are feeling a little down today. So let's welcome our loyal listeners. We thank you for being here. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we always appreciate you. But Alex, let's get to the meat and potatoes of this episode. We have someone
Today we ask, does hard work really pay off? But we're going to discuss that with our special guest. Who is it, Roger?
Well, I will say this. I'm going to let you introduce her by name, but I am going to tell you, I met this phenomenal woman. In fact, I call her Phoenix because she is just an absolute bombshell in terms of all the things that she has done, all that she has accomplished. She is a certified serial entrepreneur and continues to break barriers all the time, break ceilings for that matter, all the time with everything that she does. Alex, please introduce this star.
Yes, of course. Well, here to discuss about hard work and whether it does pay off or not always. Here is the unstoppable, the unshakable Adrianne Fekete.
Hello, everyone. I got to say, I'm trying to fit my head into the screen after that intro. Thank you. Greatly appreciated. And thank you, Phoenix, Rockstar.
Yes. Well, we are so happy to have you here with us today. Listen, I've known you for quite some time now. We have worked together. We have had a lot of conversations over the past year or so. And I want you to tell us a little bit about who you are. Let's just start with that. Let the people here know who is Adrianne.
Ooh, you told me we only had 25 minutes. That's at least a 3-hour conversation. So I'll tell you super quickly. So I would say first and foremost, I'm a good friend. I'm a mother. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I absolutely love other people, kindness, gratitude. I am, I think an 8-time founder. I've made 4 successful exits. And today I still own about 4 businesses, one being a junior hockey club, private investigation agency, and of course, I am Unbreakable, which global media, which has a lot of different fun facets to it, including magazine, live events, and a podcast.
All right. So, Adrianne, you did 8, what did you call it? Not startups, 8, you founded
8 different businesses. I learned at probably 10 years old and that I loved being an entrepreneur. I started off, believe it or not, with backyard carnivals. So again, it kind of comes full circle to events. And I just love seeing people happy. I love the connection, the community, and bringing everybody together and seeing great things happen, which I guess has sort of followed me along my path. But I always knew that I had all these wonderful ideas, and on a lot of them, I acted upon them.
One of those successful businesses is running a private investigations firm. In fact, the first female-led investigation firm in North America. That's one of your 4 successes, as you put it. Does that mean that out of 8 companies that you founded, you had 4 that did not work?
No, just so 4 exits, either I have sold them or I've morphed them into something else. But the private investigation one was a big one. That sort of led into what I'm doing today, because I always have just done what I love and love what I do. And becoming a private investigator, it's like I woke up one day and said, I have an idea. And as soon as I say that, my team and my family all disperse because they know something's coming. And, I really wanted to do something like that. And unbeknownst to me, I think it was 8 or 9 years into it, did I realize that I was the first female in North America to actually do so. I never really look at those kinds of things as restrictions or parameters on anything I want to do. So, yeah, it was fun.
Adrianne, you obviously, our theme for today, or topic, is hard work pays off. Now, clearly, I would say that your hard work has paid off, but were there ever moments when you doubted yourself and said that, you know what, it could have gone a different way in some way, shape, or form? Have you had failures in some way?
Oh, what a great loaded question. Hella yeah, lots of failures. I really do look at failures, and I'm one of those people that sort of reframe the feeling of maybe a negative thought or a negative experience. I reframe failures as necessary stepping stones to wherever you need to go. So, I've started businesses that I thought were going to go one way. And then again, I listened to my team, I listened to the clients, I listened to a lot of different things that are purposeful and meaningful. And I learned that the power of listening, number one, but also it's okay to pivot. It's okay to shift. And, I talk about my 3 F-bombs, and don't worry, I'm not going to, blow up your podcast by swearing, but the 3 F-bombs for me are one of them is failure, fear, and forgiveness. So failure, yeah. And, failure to me, I know that I'm going to grow from that. So you can look at it like, oh my gosh, I failed at something. Or you can look at it as what can I do different? What do I need to do differently? So for me, yeah, failures, it's all a part of being human and being an entrepreneur, for sure.
Nice. Now, it took you a while before realizing that you had broken a glass ceiling, but now you help other women and girls do the same thing. So while it may not be, you didn't have that in mind at the beginning as you were an entrepreneur, what shifted? What made you want to help women and girls break more glass ceilings?
So, I think I was always that girl that people would come to in school, high school, in life. How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? And, can you find out if this person's cheating? Can you find out? And so obviously, private investigation, I met these incredible humans. A lot of my clients were female, and these were women that were, founders, entrepreneurs, CEOs, C-suites. Roger, you and I have talked about this. Women that would be killing it on stages of 50 to 150,000 people. And there was a lack of, whether it was confidence, there was always something lacking. And, as the years sort of went on, because I started I Am Unbreakable. I mean, I registered the name and the idea sat with me for some time. And I always knew that I wanted to be some kind of a voice or some kind of a a platform, a catalyst, if you will, to amplify the voices of these incredible humans that I was being able to assist, some of them in their darkest times, but the resilience, the stories, the fearlessness. And prior to these kinds of wonderful platforms, I mean, that was the way that people were taught, and how they learned was through story sharing, right? And so I knew I wanted to do something, and it just sort of all morphed together. And like I said, it comes together when you're open and you're okay to receive what the information is.
Do you have a story that you can share with us? I mean that our audience can hear, in terms of a success story that you have been able to listen to. One of those beautiful stories, so to speak, that you can tell us about.
Oh, so many. Okay, I guess one really comes to mind, and you'll get to hear it at the end of this month, Roger. So if you talk about being a human, and I feel like if you're talking about being a parent, being an entrepreneur, regardless of everything, I think that we really need to master resilience. And it is tough, because when you are in the trenches and you are down in the dirt, so to speak, it's really hard to see, the sun through the forest, if you will. And so I feel that mastering resilience is huge. I've got a resilience expert that taught me and told me this beautiful story. And it is a very, kind of traumatic story, that she got into a very bad car accident, and she hit ice. And all of a sudden the ice broke, and she started sinking and going underwater. And she's like, I am going to die. And so the way that she kind of thought about things was like, what have I done with my life? Have I done everything right? It was sort of that come to Jesus moment. And she still never gave up hope. And I think the water had almost covered her entire head when she saw a hand. And I think she thought it was, God or whoever her greater power is. And it was actually somebody that saved her life. And so she made that her life mission, to always teach people resilience, that no matter how bad things get, there's a way through. And it doesn't mean to ignore it, avoid it. The only way to get over it is through it. So I guess that was one story that's always really stuck with me.
Yeah, you might say, never, never, never give up. I see that right behind you. Let's see, we're covering it right there. Never, never give up. So that it's resilience, but it's also, in a certain sense, to come back to the hard work theme from today. Never give up on your dreams or on your objectives. If you've got something that you want to do, you must work hard to get it. Now, you've worked hard to get things, but what would you tell someone if we've got someone in the audience, for example, who's trying to get there and is working really hard, but it's just not working? Is there something missing?
Yes.
Sometimes hard work does not pay off.
Agreed 100%. And, for me, when you say hard work, first thing that comes to my mind is perseverance, right? There's a lot of buzzwords going around saying, work smarter, not harder. We have lots of, new technologies and AI that can help. I was always one of those people that was going to be very resistant and say, I will never use AI. I will never replace the human connection. So yes, there's ways to work smarter. There's ways to persevere. There's mindset. But I would say this, my best thing, and anything I've ever done, you have to have two things when you're doing something. And if you're lacking one, or if you're not being true and authentic, I feel that you will not be successful. So one is passion and one is purpose, because I feel that when passion meets purpose, then you really are unbreakable and unstoppable. And that doesn't mean that you don't have to pivot or shift or realign certain things within your business. And that's why one of my 3 F-bombs is forgiveness. Don't be so hard on yourself. Like, if you've set goals for yourself, those are your goals. I don't mean sit on the couch and eat potato chips, although I do love to do that. I don't have to do it. But anyway, but what I'm saying is you still have to work, but be forgiving if, you got to move a goal because you have a sick parent or child, or, you just can't meet the deadlines. Be forgiving of yourself. Be okay with that. So that passion and purpose, 2 musts.
Wow. Passion and purpose. I love that. You know, you've gone through an array of different positions in your life, we'll say, for now. Different things that you have chosen to do. What is the one thing that you are most passionate about of all of the things that you have done, all of the projects that you have taken on, all of the ideas that you've had? What is the most passionate that you've ever felt?
Interesting. Is that personally or professionally?
Professionally.
I'm assuming it's professionally. I would say doing what I do today because of the stories. I learn from people every single solitary conversation. And I think both of you can, feel the same way and attest to that. I feel like, you can learn probably how to be a doctor online today, right? But to have those human connections, and even what you guys are doing with the podcast, you're having these really meaningful conversations. You cannot take those out of the thread of my life and of many people's lives. So first of all, thank you both for doing this. And so that's what I'm most passionate about, is meeting people, having an opportunity to be able to hear their story, but to learn from their story, to share their stories with others so they too can take from whatever the story is. Because I always say, 2 people can be watching the same movie. One of my favorite movies, When Harry Met Sally. Okay. And I'm laughing and I'm crying. The other person is, scratching their head. The other person, everybody sees a movie. They have their own interpretation. So I would say I'm most passionate about story sharing, listening, and telling as well.
I assume that your passion, or what you are most passionate about, has changed over the years.
Of course. Well, I'm not who I was when I was 19. I'm sure you guys weren't when you were 29 and a half. But yeah, absolutely. And embrace growth, embrace innovation. And again, give yourself that grace and space and permission to be curious. I think there's so much power in curiosity. And so I feel that if you're looking for something else, sometimes you don't find it. But if you listen and you're just sort of still, and Oprah has a great saying, and I love her and all her wisdom. And it's like, if you don't know what to do, do nothing. And I'm kind of like, okay, you do not tell an A-type personality do nothing, because that will drive me bonkers, right? So, but it is so true, because sitting with your breath, with your thoughts, great things happen. So you don't always need to know the answer.
Listen, Adrianne, you have, and we're gonna talk about the event that you have coming up soon. You have an event coming up at the end of this month where obviously you are very passionate about, and it is going to be huge in terms of the people that will be there. And of course, they're going to be sharing their stories. Can you give us an insight on what the event is so that our listeners, if they would like to know about it, can know?
Absolutely. And thank you so much for that. So it's first of all, it's my first inaugural event for I Am Unbreakable. I've put on many different events with the Rolling Stones, U2, lots of celebrities and whatnot. But, again, when you're passionate and this is your purpose, it means a lot. So I feel very honored and blessed to be able to bring some of the contributors that we have interviewed, and they're all coming together to share these incredible stories of fearlessness, success, failure, rejection, and how they got to where they got to. And I really feel like I look at the lineup, I just put something out on social, and I'm still sort of in disbelief that these amazing rock stars are all coming together, for one purpose, and that's to amplify the voices of women and all kind humans.
That is in Toronto, February 28th. Her Unbreakable Journey, the Power of I Am. And if we want more information, if we're anyone who is in the area or driving by Toronto, we go to your website, right, to get tickets?
Absolutely. You can get them on the website. You can go to LinkedIn, but the easiest would be iamunbreakable.com/events.
All right. iamunbreakable.com/events. And also, if we go to iamunbreakable.com, I noticed there's you can get top 10 tips for
becoming rockstar confident.
rockstar confidence. So go to that website. If you're not in Toronto, you can also get top 10 tips to get rockstar confidence right in your mailbox. Adrianne, you are inspiring many people around the world. In fact, I think you've got a mission to inspire 1 billion women. Is that right?
I sure
so
do.
You're on your way, but that spark was somewhere before. So can I ask you, who inspired you?
Oh, I don't think I've ever been stumped for a question. Good job. I would say, to be honest with you, all the incredible people I meet. So a lot of the people that will actually be at the event and that are on different platforms that I'm involved with, they're so incredibly humble. And these are women and men that are really changing the world. And they're like, no, I'm all about lifting others. So where, I am unbreakable, and I feel that we're really niche and different, is that, my thing is, who's elevating the trailblazers, who's elevating these disruptors and the folks that are making these big changes, because they're very comfortable on the sideline, myself included. I'm all about amplifying the voices of others, right? And that's what people do when they give. So yeah, I'm passionate about all the people that I meet. And I would say, my first ever person that really did inspire me was my parents. Again, they came here in 56 with nothing but a backpack and a dream and no English. They came from Hungary. So my thing is, if they can do it, and they always taught me by role modeling resilience, fearlessness, and whatnot. And my dad, and we talked about this earlier, had 2 daughters, and he never said, well, you can't do that because you're a girl. You can't do that because you're female. It was like, you want to do that? You go. Like, so working on cars, twisting wrenches, doing all that fun stuff. So I'd say my parents, and then the amazing folks I get to meet every day.
And how ironic that both Alex and I have girls, and we had an episode where we talked about them earlier. What episode was that, Alex, again?
Season 1, episode 4, about fatherhood to girls.
And the
5 girls together. Not together, but you know what I mean.
Yes. And may I just say, it is so important to fathers that are present in their daughter's life, because you are the first male, and they do look for approval. And look, I've made 25 mistakes to Tuesday raising 4 boys, but as long as you lead with love and with empathy, with compassion and whatnot, everything's going to be fine. But I love to hear the stories of men raising these incredible little girls into rock star women. So thank you both for doing such a great job.
Oh, thank you. And again, thank you very much for being here. We could actually ask so many questions. We could have talked about your time as a private investigator, or your time as a mother of 4 and a part owner of a hockey club. There's so much layers to you. This is what's so incredible about this woman. Please follow Adrianne. Please follow Adrianne. She's doing some incredible stuff. I am excited about the end of the month for the event, because we will all be a part of that. So I'm very happy with that. And listening to you and listening to some of the speakers that will be a part of this event, I got to say, I am so inspired by you and all the hard work that you do. And you are a true inspiration to many women who need to understand that there is no stopping in terms of the ceiling and where it is. You can break ceilings. You can go as far as you want to, as long as you believe in yourself. And of course, have that passion to do whatever it is that you feel that you can do. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much for having me. And I agree. I could sit here and talk to you guys like, I don't know, days and weeks and hours. So thank you both for being so incredible and for having me on your show.
Hey, it's a great pleasure.
Any last words?
Well, listen, I didn't know Adrianne, before before you invited her, Roger, and I was fascinated to just learn about Adrianne and what she's accomplished. And I listened to many other episodes of podcasts elsewhere where she talks more about all of this. So you can definitely search for Adrianne Fekete in a podcast app, and you'll find out more. It's absolutely fascinating. Maybe I'll ask this question, and then we can leave. Now it's February 10, is it? So in a few days, it's Valentine's Day. And is it true that Valentine's Day is one of the most busy times of the year for private investigators?
I love that. You know what? I got to say this. No matter how hard I try to get away from private investigation, first of all, I love it for two reasons. I help people find their truth, right? And not that I'm out there doing the investigation. I've got lots of amazing male and female investigators that do that job. But yes, 1000%. If you want me to finish off with a super funny story, you're going to say, well, you know, the questions that I always get often, who gets caught cheating more, men or women? And who gets whatever? So I'll tell you a quick funny story, and then obviously we'll have to sadly say goodbye. With Valentine's Day, you have to remember that if they have a partner outside of the marriage that is, or relationship that is not agreed upon, having an open relationship, you've got to appease one and two. Funny story, I kid you not. The way that one of our clients found out is she was a woman of a little bit of a larger size, and the other person was not. She was in the single digits. The other gal was in the double digits. I think it was size 20. It's irrelevant. And when she got her gift and they were at the Valentine's dinner, she got the size 8, and something so risque that was not her, and lingerie. So anyway, so, you know, let's keep that thought in mind. And yes, very sadly, Valentine's Day is busy.
Okay.
I guess the important thing is to find out the truth, whatever it is.
You know what? Find your truth, regardless if it's through investigation or being an entrepreneur and looking for your passion and purpose. Always be true to yourself and believe in you.
Well, again, Adrianne, thank you very much for being a part of the show. We appreciate your expertise, your passion, your fun, and your wisdom for today. Well, we have come to yet again another end to a wonderful show, a wonderful episode, and we ask you, our loyal listeners, to continue the conversation. And of course, get in touch and follow Adrianne and see all the great and wonderful and magnificent things that she's done and doing. And as we always say here on Great Convos, whether you agree or disagree, well, you can always find Great Convos. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful week.
Bye-bye.